let's hope this is the last time I have to try and make this take, because things just keep coming up, and it's getting late. I've been trying to do this for like the last maybe 2 hours. So, anyways, I promised to you guys that I would have a book review up this month if you follow me on my Facebook. And if you do follow me on Facebook, you already know what book I'm going to review. So we're just going to go ahead and start off with the fact that I ended up getting the chance to read The Daylight War by Peter V. Brett. It's a beautiful cover, don't you agree? And before I start, I really want to send out a personal thank you to Brett for once again sending me a copy of this book. And I didn't think it would be personally signed with a personal message. So, yeah, fangirl moment, thank you. It was like a late Christmas gift for me, especially because I wasn't able to get this book anywhere close to me. And so, to me, it was extremely appreciated. So, since, Brett, you're not the only person who watches these book reviews, I am going to go ahead and review your book, and hopefully you don't hate me for it, which I highly doubt. Yeah, you seem like a nice person. So, anyways, so to the book review. Things that I liked about the book. First off, the cover, like I mentioned. It is beautiful, it is gorgeous. Every single cover in the Daylight, not the Daylight War, in the Demon Cycle series is beautifully done. It's absolutely gorgeous and breathtaking. This just adds to it, and on top of it, it's got red, and red's my favorite color. And then you have this look on Inevra's face of like, come hitherto, I'll tell you your future, with my Alagai Hora. And yeah, I'd go lesbian for her, definitely. And maybe if I did that, she could also tell me my future and let me know if I'll get into Northwestern in the spring, which would be awesome. And not this spring, next spring. But yeah, so the cover itself is beautiful. I should figure out who does the cover art and like send them like a personal little like thank you card and be like, your work is so well done, and it really exemplifies Brett's work as well. So, cover art, as usual, beautiful like the rest of the series. What else did I like? I love the writing style. You have authors that are they are stuck in this like little shell of like the raw, gritty, dirty, violent writing that they might poke at it or crack at it and kind of touch on it, but they won't do too much after that. Brett just breaks out of it. Like, I was surprised with it. It was very raw and gritty. There were some very violent scenes. There's also a lot of sex scenes. And it's all detailed. It's to the point that I'm reading and it's like, I feel like I'm here watching this, or that I'm watching a movie, or maybe I'm in somewhere that it's actually in front of me, or something along those lines. But he didn't spare details. He didn't spare mercy. Things would happen to characters that you would be like, yeah, I'm actually going to root for that, even though, like, part of me feels like I shouldn't because it's so violent. Like, and I really enjoyed that a lot. And then, if we were to look at the book, this is probably going to be the political book of the series. The politics are well done, especially with the different cultures and how things play out within their own societies. I really enjoyed the politics of it. On top of it, it was easy to read the politics because it was intertwined with a lot of sex. And for me, I can converse and enjoy sex and topics involving sex. So, to me, it made it even better. But say if we were to take the second book from Sanderson's Mistborn series, his second book that was all politics, I had a hard time reading because I wanted something else other than politics. I wanted some kind of action. I wanted something to happen. And at least Daylight War has something happening in it, which really made me thankful. I also enjoy the fact that the book starts to like branch off in these new little areas. One of which is with Aban, which in the second book you know he's the strategy guy, and it just adds on. And I am excited to see how this is going to play out with Aban and his strategy. He understands the idea that you don't get rid of like the small people. The small people are what really make the big giant empire successful in its own way. So it's exciting to see that. I'm also excited to see how fighting with the demons is going to change, because you have the mind demons coming up, and so instead you aren't going to have just a demon comes up and it's like, oh, it's a fire demon, I know how to take care of this. Now it's like, oh, it's a fire, oh crap, it's got a strategy. So you have to have the characters thinking more on their feet, which is going to be a lot of fun. Let's see, what else did I enjoy? Oh, I really enjoyed how Inevra's backstory is intertwined in. Instead of the second book where we have Jardier's, which is just a chunk of, probably, I'd say maybe a third of the book as Jardier's backstory is just a chunk. In Inevra, it's intertwined in more naturally. Instead of having just a chunk of it, you end up having her doing something and she recalls this memory, and so you have some of the backstory. And then you come back to the future and you go and read about some other characters, and then she's doing something else and you have another chunk of it. So I really enjoyed it. It seemed a lot more natural. And it was a nice little change up, especially since he does a lot of backstory work. I also enjoyed the ending. It is a cliffhanger. Pretty much any book that has a book coming after it is most likely going to have a cliffhanger at the end. But it was done in a clever little way that I really enjoyed. And if you follow his Facebook, you probably already know what it is. Cons that I had with this book. Well, it wasn't a con for me, but for some people it would probably be the sex. If you are uncomfortable with the discussion of sex or the thought of sex, you will probably have a very difficult time reading the book. If anything, I would just still recommend kind of just skim over those parts, because the rest of the book is still worth it. What else? Oh, fighting scenes. Action. You have snippets here and there. However, you don't have a big giant fighting scene until chapter 22, which is past the halfway mark in the book. So if you are looking for the action that you got in the first two books, it's not exactly there. It's kind of brought in now and again, but it's not as action-packed. Still worth reading? Yes, it's still worth reading, especially when you get to that big first action scene, big first fight scene. It is well worth it. It's extremely fun. I'm a title person, and so with the name The Daylight War, I get the idea that we're going to have a war during the daytime, so obviously between the North and the South, it was all politics. There wasn't even really a war at all. And so to me, it feels like it's not the best title that you can use. It is an intriguing title. That does help. And I'm hoping that the title does play into the series later on. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It was hard for me to try and find cons for this book, mainly because I enjoyed it a whole lot. A whole lot, that sounds weird. I just thoroughly enjoyed this book like no other, and then I'm kind of wanting to go lesbian for Inevra, that kind of thing. The only other con that I could think of was involving Renna, but mainly because every time Renna comes into a scene, all I think of is Jerry Springer, because she's hot-headed and easily jealous. So, if you paid attention to my Goodreads, you might have heard me complaining about her, or something. But other than that, though, would I recommend buying, borrowing, or not reading the book at all? I would recommend that if you're comfortable with sex and sex scenes, read the book. Buy it. It is well worth your money. If you're not very comfortable with sex scenes, I would recommend borrowing it. Mainly because, not because you won't enjoy it, you could still enjoy the storyline, but because you'll probably end up skimming over most of the sex scene passages, and in a way you aren't really getting your money's worth on that, so I would recommend borrowing it instead. I'm not going to say it's not worth reading, because the book is still worth reading. It is beautifully done. How can you say no to this look of seduction? How can you say no to that? I'm so... if I could, I would sleep with this cover, but I don't want to ruin it. So, yeah. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any books that you want me to read, review, or do the whole shebang thing, go ahead, comment down below, go to my Facebook, go to my Goodreads, go to my Google+, let me know somewhere, and I'll add it to the list, even though I'm not going through them as fast as I would like. But I'm trying to get through at least one book a month, since I have a whole bunch of schoolwork. And, yeah, I hope you guys are doing great. I am going to go off and finish helping my mom celebrate her birthday. And she is the wonderful woman who taught me how to put on mascara and not make it look like I have tarantula legs on my eyes, which is always a nice skill to know how to do. Because I think tarantula leg eyelashes are really weird looking. So yeah. We should call it good at that. I should hopefully see you guys next month with a review on Magician Apprentice. Hopefully it works out. So, you guys have a great time, and I'll see you later. Bye.